Okay, hi guys. My name is Gerald Stafford. I am the president and the founder of Fourth Dimension Technologies, a Microsoft approved provider of MCT certification. So the purpose of this presentation is to to give you an update on what's happened recently in the MCT program. Microsoft announced a bombshell April 1st, which was not an April 1st joke, April Fool's joke, in which they will no longer accept Microsoft Office specialist certification for entry into the MCT program. That's a real bombshell because Microsoft has accepted this particular certification since its inception, which was 1997. So that's huge, and so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. This is going to be a very short presentation. I'm going to make it as short as I possibly can anyway. But anyway, so I wanted to give you an update. That's what's going on. So if you have a Microsoft Office certification, you're a specialist, and you do not have an MCT, it will no longer qualify for the MCT program. If you are an MCT currently and you want to use the mouse certification, that will still count towards your MCT. So I just kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an update. New MCTs with mouse certification no longer acceptable. So Microsoft made that announcement, like I said, on the 1st of April of this year. And then they came along a little bit further to clarify it to make sure that we understood that the MOS or the mouse certification will no longer be acceptable for MCT qualifications. Remember, in order to be an MCT, which I need to do more of this stuff because people really just don't understand the program. But in order to be an MCT, you need two things. You need to have a qualifying certification, and then you need to take Fourth Dimension Technologies MCT course. And we offer it three different ways. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But those are the two primary things that you need. Qualifying certification, Fourth Dimension Technologies course. So Microsoft made that announcement. They clarified it on the 6th of April, and we'll talk about that. I actually put it in the slide, and I'll just kind of walk you through it. So basically, here's what the announcement said. The initial announcement was on the 1st, and then on the 6th, they came back and they clarified it. And they said, here's the updates to the announcements that we made. We got feedback from you guys based on the announcement on the 1st. Well, we thought about it. We tried to make some accommodations, but really the same thing is going to apply. So they went further and they said, well, after receiving feedback from the community, we have reviewed our proposed changes to certifications eligible for the MCT program. And then it goes further and says, we will continue to accept Microsoft Office specialist certifications as part of the acceptance list for existing MCTs only. That means you have to have been an MCT at the time of this announcement for them to accept the Microsoft Office specialist certifications. And then they go on further and they include the list of certifications. I don't have to go through that. You guys that have mouse-based certifications, you know what they are. And you can visit our website as well to get more information. We have a list of all the certifications that qualify. Now, we still have Microsoft's original list there because they have not taken it down from the MCT site. Obviously, when they take it down, then we'll adjust accordingly. We're not going to take it down until we see it written in stone, basically. So at this time, Microsoft says they will no longer accept new MCTs to enter the program leveraging the mouse certifications, which is what I said. They'll continue to provide some feedback. Maybe they'll change their minds over the course of the next year, 6 months or so, if they hear enough from the MCT community or the really the application-based community, because the mouse certification began in 1997. Let's go back just for very quickly. I'm going to do my best. Microsoft first started their certification program in 1992. They had 3 certifications: Land Manager, Windows 3.1, and SQL. 1992. 93 is when they really started to see growth, and so they introduced the MCP program, the MCSE program, and the MCT program. So, and we've been doing this since 90, well, we've been certified for the mid 90s, but we started the MCT program in 99. So the mouse certification then came along in 97. So it's only 4 years younger than, really their bedrock certifications. So this is a bit of a shock to the community, but they'll continue to provide updates and maybe they'll turn it back on. So let's talk about what we can do going forward. What's the real impact of this? Well, the impact is, again, if you currently are an MCT, you're fine. Nothing changes. If you are not an MCT and you have mouse certification and you were thinking about becoming an MCT, or you had it, on your bucket list and you kept putting it off for whatever reason, your finances weren't ready, you had, things going on in your work life, family life, what have you, and you just didn't get around to it, you kind of lost out. So now we have to find another path for you to become a Microsoft certified trainer. Now, for those of you that may have listened to some videos that I did before, some presentations that I did before, you know that I jump around and I try to stop myself, but I just do. I don't follow slides. I talk through slides. I don't like instructors to follow slides. So, so I just want to put a disclaimer out there again. So if you look at what that real impact is, what it means is that you're going to have to make an adjustment. You're going to have to find a certification that will allow you to upskill so that you now meet the requirements of becoming a Microsoft certified trainer. The Microsoft certified trainer certification, and this is not, my opinion is not just based on the fact that I deliver that content. It's also based on the fact I have most of the certifications across multiple vendors. I have a lot of certifications, so that's not what drives it. What drives is that if you look at, as an example, the MCP program, if you look at the Microsoft certified professionals in the space, it's probably 5 to 15 million. Who knows? There's tons of them. Microsoft doesn't release the numbers like they used to. But if you look at the MCT space, there may be 30,000, 40,000 at tops. But about 30,000 is a really good guesstimate on my part. So it is still their most prestigious certification. It still pays the highest depending on what subjects you're delivering. And, if you understand that part of the business, but I'm not going to go on a tangent on this presentation. So it has the most flexibility. So there's still a path forward, and let's talk about this. We know how it impacts you, so let's figure out how we solve the problem. First, let's talk about what's the signal that Microsoft is sending the tech community. Well, basically, they're saying, hey, we're raising the bar for our most prestigious certification. You'll no longer just be able to walk into the MCT program, even though the mouse certification was a valuable certification because it was used primarily to teach people in the application space. And way back many years ago, when we really started, or me personally, when I started in this stuff, there were more. The MCTs were basically mouse certified MCTs because there were not that many guys that could deliver SQL, as an example. And then Microsoft quickly went through Land Manager and Windows 3, and we're in the NT environment pretty quickly. So I don't want to date myself, but it's important for you to understand, that I know kind of how this business has evolved. So they're raising the bar. That's number one. And they're committed to making sure that those that hold that certification have high-level technical skills or role-based skills. They're also looking to gain, for you to gain more technical skills, which I already said. They want you to be, at least an associate level and then an expert level. So you have to be careful because at some point they may take a look at some of the associate level certifications as well and start to phase them out and say, well, they don't meet the criteria. Or maybe they go back into the 365 family and see, what's really going on in that market. Some of those certifications like the 365 Dynamics, um, and some of those certifications, they still qualify for the MCT. But you want to get your MCT while you still qualify. That's really the bottom line. Um, and they want the skills to kind of start to move toward the cloud-based environment. Let's think about it for a second. AWS controls well, they don't control. They have the largest market share in the cloud environment. But the Azure cloud product that Microsoft has delivered has grown faster than the AWS. So they're making a real strides in shrinking that market and gaining some market share. So they want to start to move their training to the cloud-based environments. And so this is just some of this is just my opinion, having been around it so long. But I think that's a part of what's going on. So they want you to start to move to the cloud and some of the role-based certifications. So what's your best path forward? And I'm strictly talking about this is subjective. As a person that has a mouse certification, and maybe you had a ton of Excel in your background and you've been delivering Excel for eons and eons and eons, well, the most logical path for you is to take the Power BI data analytics associate certification. Mid-level certification still requires some real expertise, but really heavily loaded in the Excel environment. I shouldn't say that. There's enough Excel in the PL 300 exam that it is going to benefit you when you go to take that exam, because you've been doing Excel so long. You understand data and data modeling, visualization, and some of the things that they really test on in that environment. So it's an advantage for you. And so it's just for me, subjectively, having developed training programs and developed not only trainers but technologists, that's just a very logical path. So I would think hard about, hey, maybe I'll just take this path, upgrade myself, don't make the mistake again, go ahead and get my MCT so I have the career flexibility that I need. I obviously got the international recognition, and I get a host of benefits that's not going to be covered in this presentation, but the benefits outweigh the costs by a lot. But again, we need to just help you guys understand what the MCT program is about. So now let's talk about the requirements again. It's a quick recap. You need two things. You need to hold a qualifying certification, which we already said. The mouse certification is no longer meets that standard. So I would say it's safe to get at least an associate level certification, particularly like if you look at the data analytics space as an example, there's 3.1 million jobs available in the data analytics space globally. The same in the cyberspace is like 3.5 million thereabouts jobs available in that space. The U.S. market controls 32% of that. The next largest player is the European market. So there's a lot of opportunity, is what I'm saying. So you need to get, to be safe, just get a mid-level, associate level certification. And then you need to attend Fourth Dimension Technologies instructional skills course. We offer it 3 different ways. You have to provide proof to Microsoft as well, but we offer it 3 different ways. We do a self-study class, which is our most popular class. It's our least expensive class, but I don't think that's what drives people taking that class. I think the fact that you can take it at your own pace. You don't have to be in the continental United States. You can be in Europe, which is where a lot of our students come from, particularly in the Scandinavian countries, some of the Mediterranean-based countries as well. But you can take it at your own leisure. You can go through the content multiple times. That course does have a final exam attached to it. You have to score. It's not an easy exam, I should tell you. You have to score at least 65% on that exam in order for us to release your certificate of completion. There's 50 questions in that exam, and you have 2 hours to take it. The good news for you right now is that we're allowing you to retake that exam at no additional charge. So if you don't pass it the first time, don't panic. You can go back in and take it multiple times, and we're not charging you for it. Now, that may not continue to be the case, but right now, as of this recording, that's the way we have it set up for you. You can also do a live instructor-led course that we offer both, that's online, that we offer both in the European market and the continental United States. We have not really offered it in the Asian market, though it looks like we're about to launch into that market because we're starting to get Asian students, a lot of students in the Asian market. So we may launch that in the Asian market as well, and then obviously, the African market. So right now it's in the U.S. and it's in Europe. All you have to do is go to our website. You can go to our website by visiting www.fdtec.co. fdtec.co. Go to the shopping, click shopping, look at the course that you want. Look and see what dates available. Click on the calendar. It'll tell you the dates that's available. You have to pick a date before you can book a class. Pick a date, book a class. Simple as that. The classes generally run 2 days. Sometimes they may run 3 days, and that's going to depend on what type of interaction that we have with the student population, as well as the number of students. We do have a cap on the number of students that we'll accept into that environment, and that's generally set at 10. I could be off by 1 or 2, but it's generally set at 10. So we have it both in the U.S. and the EU markets, and just check your local time zones and book your course. Then our last course offering is our in-person course, which we had canceled, obviously, because of the pandemic. We were not holding those courses, but we decided to relaunch, even though we're kind of getting a little bit concerned because we're seeing numbers start to go up again in terms of this virus. But right now, currently, we will offer that class in Baltimore, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia, and Los Angeles, California. Our Baltimore class is the first one that we're going to launch. Is going to be held on the 24th and 25th of June. Again, check the calendar. You can book the class there. Make sure that you book enough early in advance. That is, in fact, our most expensive class, but that's because of, obviously, we have more costs in the in-person environment, but that really is not what drives it 100%. What drives it is more of, it's a very intense, very immersive type of courseware and engagement, and the students feel a little bit more pressure in that environment, and so we can critique things a little bit differently. So that's the 3 offerings that we have. So you need to do what? You need to hold a qualifying certification before you can enroll in our classes, and then you need to take the 4th Dimension Technologies trainer course, or Microsoft Instructional Skills course. And I've already told you the 3 different ways of delivery that you can take it. And then once we issue your certificate of completion, which if you're in the in-person class or the online class, you get it the same day that you finish the course. If you are in the self-study, you generally get it the same day, but we like to give ourselves a 24 to 48 hour window before we deliver the certificate of completion. It depends on what the volume looks like for us. But we try to get it to you within the same day, and we generally are pretty good at that. You need to take that certificate of completion to provide Microsoft with the proof that you took it from an authorized provider, which we are. There's a lot of people that I see, all these people out here selling MCT courses, and I'm saying, well, who are they? They're not authorized as far as I know, but nevertheless, we know that we are. That's how it works for you. And then, so I already talked about it, but I'll go over it again very quickly. Here's how you enroll. Visit our website, www.fdtec.co. Browse our courseware. Figure out what the platform you want to go through, whether it's self-study, online, instructor-led, or in-person class. select the course you want to take, pay for the course, and then you have access to the content. For those of you that do the self-study, you will get access. If you look at the self-study, you'll get access to a number of different tools right there after you pay for it. So you'll get the courseware, you'll get the MCT enrollment agreement, just so that you have it, because you can do it electronically now. You'll get, the benefits and resources so that you really understand that and what that represents, because it's hard to quantify that. It's hard to put a dollar value on it. Actually, it's you get much more than what you pay for. And then there's a few other documents that I may have forgotten. So you get access to all the content that you need. So I already said the self-study, live instructor-based, in-person courses, which the next one is going to be June 24th and 25th in Baltimore. That's what we're planning on doing. We don't plan on canceling it, but we are a little bit concerned about the virus. You can also email us at info@fdtec.co. Again, that's info@fdtec.co. And lastly, you can call us by dialing 1-770-800-1853. Again, that is 1-770-800-1853. I hope I gave you some updates or some insights on what's really going on, not only with the mouse certification, but the MCT program as a whole, from an overview perspective anyway. And hope to see you in class. Come out, take one of our classes. It's a life-changing experience. It'll change the opportunities that you see in the marketplace, and you'll never regret it, because the investment is very small based on the return. Thanks.